Welcome back to Video Game News Daily, your bragging rights to the ultimate KD ratio with news versus misinformation. To get notified of new episodes, sign up to the mailing list at signup.videogamenewsdaily.com and subscribe to this podcast for game news every weekday. It's Friday, December 12th, 2025. And we are in the fallout of the Game Awards, so I'm going to admit this episode will be a little bit different than most, and I have to be honest as well. There's going to be very little here that hasn't been announced or revealed or awarded at the Game Awards. So, with that apology, let's get into it. The Game Awards 2025 winners, and Clair Obscur cleans up. VGC has the full winners list, and the headline is simple: Clair Obscur Expedition 33 didn't just win Game of the Year, it also set a new record for total awards won. That kind of sweep doesn't happen by accident, and it's the sort of night that turns a hit into a franchise meeting on Monday morning. Congrats to Sandfall, enjoy the emails. Now, just to give you a very quick wrap-up, and to prove that I am not AI generated, I'm going to give you a very quick rundown of the awards list so far. Game of the Year, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Game Direction, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Narrative, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Art Direction, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Score and Music, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 with composer Lorien Testard. Best Audio Design, Battlefield 6. Best Performance, Jennifer English of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Innovation in Accessibility, Doom, The Dark Ages. Games for Impact, South of Midnight. Best Ongoing Game, No Man's Sky. Best Community Support, Baldur's Gate 3. Best Independent Game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Debut Indie Game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Mobile Game, Umamusume Pretty Derby. Best VR AR Game, The Midnight Walk. Best Action Game, Hades 2. Best Action Adventure Game, Hollow Knight Silksong. Best RPG, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Fighting Game, Fatal Fury City of Wolves. Best Family Game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Bonanza. Best Sim Strategy Game, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Ivalice Chronicles. Best Sports Racing Game, Mario Kart World. Best Multiplayer Game, Ark Raiders. Best Adaptation, The Last of Us Season 2. Most Anticipated Game, Grand Theft Auto 6. Player's Voice, Wuthering Waves. Content Creator of the Year, Moist Critical. Best Esports Game, Counter-Strike 2. Best Esports Athlete, Chovy or Jeong Ji-hoon. Best Esports Team, Team Vitality, Counter-Strike 2. Hope that wasn't too boring, and if you skip through it, then you can check the article in the show notes. Clair Obscur was made on less than $10 million. GameSpot citing the New York Times say Clair Obscur was built on a budget under $10 million, and that the studio conserved resources by avoiding open-world sprawl. That's not a magic trick anyone can replicate, but it is a reminder scope discipline plus strong art direction can still punch way above its weight. If you want to check out Big GameSpot, they also published a big Best of Show recap with major reveals and updates. Divinity, Star Wars, Fate of the Old Republic, and a bunch of, wait, we're actually shipping that? Release windows. These gallery roundups are basically the modern patch notes for the entire industry's marketing calendar, and I'm sure GameSpot isn't alone on this one, so if you want to get a full release update and all the trailers that came out during the Game Awards, check it out. Now for one of the night's big swing reveals, VGC reports Star Wars, Fate of the Old Republic is in development at Archanaut Studios with Lucasfilm Games, and it's directed by Casey Hudson. Yes, the original KOTOR director and Mass Effect trilogy lead. It's described as a single-player, narrative-driven action RPG and a spiritual successor. So choices, consequences, and a moral compass you'll ignore on your second playthrough. VGC says the creepy statue teaser, now known as the Hellstone, was pointing at a new Divinity game, currently just titled Divinity in development at Larian. It's Larian going back to the series that built the studio's name before Baldur's Gate 3 became everyone's personality for a year. No date yet, but the intent is loud and clear. Big RPGs are still the main event. Also via VGC, Capcom is finally bringing Mega Man back with Mega Man Dual Override, aiming for 2027 and all formats. It's been long enough that some fans have had time to grow up, get jobs, and become accountants, just in time to justify the collector's edition purchase. The important part, it exists, it's real, and it has a year attached. PS5 exclusive Saros delayed to April. Saros, a PS5 exclusive, has been delayed until April, but with early access available through a digital deluxe edition. If your reaction is, so the date moved, but the monetization didn't, then congratulations, you understand modern publishing. Still, a delay can mean polish, stability, and few day one apology tours. Control Resonant announced for next year. Remedy fans, VGC has you covered. Control Resonant, the sequel to Control, is officially announced for next year. Remedy doing more Control is the least surprising thing here, because the oldest house still has plenty of doors to open, and at least 3 of them are probably cursed. Expect weird, demand weird. And finally, VGC reports a 2-for-1 Tomb Raider reveal, a remake called Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, and a sequel called Tomb Raider Catalyst, with windows pointing to 2026 and 2027. Lara Croft is back on the schedule twice, which is either a bold creative strategy or a content pipeline KPI. Possibly both. That's all for today. Subscribe to the Video Game News Daily podcast, sign up to the mailing list at signup.videogamenewsdaily.com for all the news sources and to get notified when a new episode drops. And I promise next week we'll have less Game Awards stuff. Send this podcast on to a friend if you know they need the news. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.